Hi everyone, thank you for watching our video. We've got lots of other amazing online courses available on the Morales Method website. Please follow the link in the description to see our other online courses. Alrighty folks, so here we are with Elena in side lying position, and notice I've got a bolster underneath her right leg, and her left leg is exposed here on the adductor part. So we're going to be able to do some great deep tissue work on the adductor area. Again, same rule applies. We sink in and we feel for directional resistance. In this case, it's really important to be aware how you're working the tissue. And I'm going to do most of my work using elbow, forearm. Some of the work can be done with fingers, knuckles, soft fist, all of those tools, but depending on how much your client is draped and how comfortable they may be with work in this area, then I would suggest that we're able to learn how to use different tools to work this territory. It's also helpful that Elena is wearing shorts. In my private practice, I have people wear shorts and a sports bra or tank top in order for me to be able to work on them, have them get up off the table, reassess, and then get them back on the table. So here we are with Elena's left side adductors exposed, and again, if we needed to work in the inferior direction, I could use a soft fist like so. I could use knuckles, soft fist a little further up. When I'm working here, notice I'm very much in kind of adductor, hamstring territory. So I'm still affecting hamstrings when I'm working adductors. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. As I mentioned, we can use a forearm. And here's the placement of my forearm. In my practice, I may actually get a little closer, but I want to pull back just a bit so you see the placement of my forearm and going in the inferior direction. I could move it a little bit more towards hamstring. I could move it a little bit more towards quadricep. Here in this case, I can get a little bit closer if I wanted to work a little further down, just like so. And I could take this same positional strategy all the way to the knee joint. If I was using fingers, I might still sit in the same position and use fingers to work the territory. In her case, it's definitely inferior direction, directional resistance right over here. And here I am working in the inferior direction. If I use soft fist, and then I may not necessarily do it in sitting position, because what I'm starting to feel is that I'm bending at my elbow, and I'm also kind of starting to hike up my shoulder. So I may not necessarily do it like so. I may actually stand up and switch. Use my use my right soft fist and my right foot forward to be able to lean in and work the tissue in this direction. Like I showed before, knuckles are an option, fingers are an option. If I wanted to work in the superior direction, I could do that as well. Here I am. Again, forearm, move your foot just a tad. Forearm elbow is available to me, and I like this tool because it allows me to move up in the superior direction without feeling too invasive for my client. I could go right up really close to ischial tuberosity with this tool. It's also important to make sure that your client is well positioned. She's in a great position here to receive the work. I want to make sure they don't go too prone, because then that doesn't allow me to get to the adductors that well. So I want to make sure they're in a great position, not too much in prone position. Again, I think I mentioned we definitely felt a directional resistance in the inferior direction. So when I go in the superior direction, it feels very easy to me. In real practice, if this were a real session, I probably wouldn't go in the superior direction. I would really much more hang out in the inferior direction, because that's where I feel the directional resistance. I can also, my forearm elbow was right over here. I can also switch closer to more of a hamstring adductor territory, and here's where I feel a difference in the directional resistance, and I'm moving in the superior direction. One thing I want to show you, a variation of this work, would be to include flexion of the knee joint and rotation of the femur. So what I want to do is show you that if we flex knee and then bring knee up or bring knee down, we can rotate the femur, and we can then change how we're working with this adductor territory. Imagine if I'm working in a territory right here, and maybe I'm sitting here like so with my forearm like so, I could then bring Elena's femur into external or internal rotation, and I could still then continue to work in the direction of resistance as we're incorporating rotation. So another variation to the tissue, to get to the tissue in a more functional way. I think it's sometimes I'll do that if I feel that that there is an issue with movement in rotation. I may start to incorporate rotation, but I normally work in the superior inferior direction first before I approach rotation. So now let's look at the IT band territory and working the lateral part of the leg.